Good Sunday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy with TFG Sports Media. Happy Sunday to you and to all the ladies. I gotta say, happy Mother's Day to you as well. Again, this is a special edition of our Sunday sports show. We're gonna be shining the spotlight on the mothers today. This is our special Mother's Day edition show. We're gonna be talking about women in professional sports who became mothers and be able to juggle all that. We're going to be talking about that. This is really impromptu. I ain't really writing no notes. So I'm just going to be going off the top of the head. So again, this is going to be our special Mother's Day edition show. So you know the house rules over here on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you come in, make sure you comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. And again, make sure you comment. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's TFG Sports Media here on YouTube, and as well as Kendrick Sports, also as you see in the ticker, SporTZHUSTLE. Make sure you subscribe there. Also, you can follow TFG Sports Media on Facebook as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook, and you can follow me as well. Again, the house rules is you got to come in, comment, let me know where you're watching from, and we're going to have a good time. I know people may be already out with dinner, taking moms out for dinner. So if you watch this later, still, I want you to come in and chime in because I'm going to rewatch this and I want to see the comments. But we're talking about women in sports, those that became mothers. And again, this is our special Mother's Day edition, and we want to shine a light on all the beautiful women out there that should be celebrated. Not only on Mother's Day, women in general, they should be celebrated every day of the year because women do a whole lot when it comes down to it. I'm not slighting dads. Father's Day, we have our day. We all know we don't get the same kind of love, and I get it. But we definitely gonna be shining the light on mothers today. So again, make sure you come in, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Now, before we start talking about that, we do got some basketball playoffs going to be going down today. We got the Pacers and the Knicks. They will be tipping it off on ABC in about up in that series 2-1. We also had two games last, and we got another game tonight. Let me talk about that. Tonight, we got the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. They will be tipping it off at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, I believe, on TNT. The Timberwolves are up 2-1 in that series. The Nuggets came back and stole one in the Minnesota's home court. Also, on last night, we had two games. We had the Mavericks. They hung on and win at home over those pesky Oklahoma City Thunder. So they are up now 2-1 in that series. The Mavericks are over the number one seed Oklahoma City Thunder in the West. And then on last night, the Celtics came in to Cleveland and thumped the Cavaliers to go up 2-1 in that series. Then we got some games tomorrow night. So those are the games, the NBA playoffs we got going on. I just wanted to get that out there so you know after you watch this, you can turn the channel over to ABC. You can check out the Knicks and the Pacers if you're not out with mom celebrating her. So let's talk about the mothers, the women in sports. I decided I was just thinking about this the other day. Actually last night, I was just thinking tomorrow's Mother's Day. At first, I wasn't going to come on and go live. I said, well, you know what? I'm not doing anything. Why not? I said, even if nobody watches, somebody can come back and rewatch this. Again, if you don't see this live on YouTube and Facebook, rewind it, watch it later. Comment. I like for you to chime in under the comments. But let's talk about the women in sports that became mothers. I would like to know what's one dominant woman that comes to your mind first off when you think about, oh, she's a bad mama jamma doing her thing, but she also is a mother. Now, I'm saying they became mothers during their sports peak or during their sports time. There's quite a few out there. And I know the first that came to my mind was Serena Williams. You know, she is probably I ain't going to say probably, she's the most dominant tennis player ever. And she became a mother, about 5 years ago. And obviously, she's kind of been up and down since then, but no one can take away from her dominance as the greatest women's tennis player of all time. Now, I believe she's expecting another one. So she's slowly winding down, but, at the height, Serena was unstoppable. She was the most dominant woman in the tennis game. Now, again, Her career is kind of taking a tailspin. I'm not even gonna say tailspin. It's kind of slid off a little bit because maybe motherhood has something to do with that. But she was still able to do her thing, even being a mother. Now, again, being a professional athlete in itself is a full-time job. Even being a mother, if you're not a professional athlete, is a full-time job. So if you add being a mother to being a professional athlete, what these women do to become who they are in their sport is amazing. Men don't have to make the sacrifices that women do. Let's go and just be real about it. Men, professional athletes, they don't have to sacrifice like women do. Women have, even outside of the sports realm, we don't have to sacrifice like women do in the professional aspect. If women are pursuing their professional dreams and goals, and they married and they decide to have a family, yeah, there's something they have to make decisions that men don't have to make. So so just add being a professional athlete to that, and that definitely takes it to a whole another level. So Serena Williams definitely has been at the top of her game, and quite looked like she got motherhood down packed too. So that's one women's athlete I thought of. Allison Felix, one of the greatest American women track and field stars ever. I think about the story about her when she was pregnant. I read the story where Nike pretty much decided they didn't want to roll with her as far as being her sponsor. All this and that. So she's decided to take it in her own hands and create her own women apparel line and then start her own line. And there you have it. She basically told Nike, y'all can kiss the bottom of my spikes, and which, that's the thing that women athletes, I think, have to deal with. That's unfair. Allison Felix decided she wanted to start a family, and then the Nike company decided, we don't know if we want to do this. We may not want to move forward with what you doing, as far as being sponsoring you and all this. So she took the matters in her own hands, and she became who she is now. Allison Felix, again, I don't think she's officially retired, but I think she's winding down, and she has one little girl. And I do remember reading about she had some difficulties with that pregnancy. But she became one of the most dominant 400-meter runners ever. You can chalk it in the books. I can't even tell you how many gold medals she's gotten at the games, but she's about to wind down her illustrious career. So that's just another woman that definitely, as a mother, that showed that she can juggle being a top-notch professional athlete and motherhood as well. And Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, the Jamaica sprinter. We all know who Shelly Ann Fraser-Price is. Them Jamaican women, they've been bringing it for a minute. I think one of the moment that a lot of us remember that happened the last couple of years when Sha'Carri Richardson and her, I think Sha'Carri came in like maybe nine. I forgot what race it was, and you see Shelly Ann Fraser-Price walking in the background, kind of mugging, after beating Sha'Carri Richardson. But Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, when you talk about Jamaican sprinters, women sprinters, she's up there. She's the top of the game, and so she's definitely been one of those women that has have to juggle motherhood and being at the top of her game, and she still is at the top of her game. I think she's working on almost 19, 20 years in the sport. So Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. Then I'm going way back. Margaret Court. Margaret Court. She was a 24-time Grand Slam winner. This is the record that Serena Williams broke. I did not know Margaret Court was the mother of 4 children. So I don't think she had them all 4 when she was playing, but eventually she had 4 children. But she had to juggle motherhood back in those times. Now, Margaret Court, we're talking about the 40s, 50s. So, that's way back when. And then that's a whole different beast too to have to deal with. At that time, men were typically the breadwinners, especially no matter what it was, sports or whatever. And she was dominating on the courts. So for her to be able to juggle that and during the times that she was coming up in, that's a feat in herself. So, women definitely have to be a different type of, they have to show some resilience and be a little bit different to when it comes to being a mother in professional sports, because nobody's going to feel sorry for them. They're not going to give them any type of bend the rules for them. So I always look at women that's mothers, that's at the top of their game in a profession as a professional athlete. They're different. They come with a totally different mindset. And they probably take that same mindset to being a mother, because you have to. You have to. Again, I'm not a woman, but I was raised by a single woman. So their mindset is different. They got a little bit more discipline and tenacity and all that. So I get it when we talking about women. Florence Griffith Joyner, the late Florence Griffith Joyner, who still holds the world record in the women's 100 meters and the women's 200 meters, who died unexpectedly and so early. So she was one of my favorites. She was one of my first. I'll be honest with you. Florence Griffith Joyner was my first sports woman's crush. Florence Griffith Joyner was. I thought she was beautiful, and she just she was elegant. She brought her own swag to the game, and Sha'Carri Richardson reminds me of her when it comes to her swag. Florence Griffith Joyner brought her own type of style, and she kept it feminine, and which was dope. But also not only that, she was a hell of an athlete. Again, so, and then she had her little girl. She was married to Al Joyner, and they had a little girl. So, thinking about Florence Griffith Joyner, she was definitely one of my, like I say, she was my first women's sports crush, and she was crushing it on the track too. I want to thank everybody that's dropping in on TikTok, Gary and Robert Howell and Nikki Katz and Black Rosa 17, OG Beezy. I want to thank y'all for dropping in. I know it's Mother's Day. A lot of people probably taking loving on mama, as you should. And let me say this real quick. Make sure you spending all the time and all the quality time with your mothers, man. I know it's cliche. I know you've heard this all the time, but you only get one. So spend your time, enjoy mama today. If mama wanna kick back, or if mama wants you to take her on excursions today, be a chauffeur. If mama wants you to do some honeydews, be that honeydew person today, because you only get one of them. So again, I do want to say this is our special Mother's Day TFG Sports Media Show. Again, I am live on TikTok as well as on YouTube, as well as on Facebook. So we just got through talking about Florence Griffith Joyner. We're talking about the top women in sports who became mothers, and how they had to figure out a way to juggle being a mother and being a top-notch athlete. So we just got through talking about the late, great Florence Griffith Joyner. Sheryl Swoopes, this was another one of my sports crushes. Matter of fact, I got a story about Sheryl Swoopes. I'm in East Texas now. Some years back, she was still playing. She was playing for the Houston Comets then. And she came to East Texas, to Longview High School, for a celebrity benefit game. I was working at the local ABC affiliate KLTV in Tyler, Texas at that time, and I had to go over and cover that game and get some sign with her, man. And I was starstruck. Sheryl Swoopes, I don't know what it was. See, I had a little crush on Sheryl, and she did her thing. But you got to think about Sheryl Swoopes. She ended up when she came into the WNBA, she was married at that time, and she had a little boy who she named Jordan, by the way. Michael Jordan was her favorite basketball player, so she named her son Jordan. And he's probably every bit in his late 20s now, I'm sure, maybe early 30s. So Sheryl Swoopes, she had to juggle that, coming from Texas Tech and leading them to a national title. Then being the Houston Comets, if you watched the WNBA at that time, the Comets was on fire. They were winning championships after championships down there in H-Town. Then Sheryl Swoopes would be the first WNBA player. Actually, she was the first woman to get her own Nike signature shoe. And Nike, that signature shoe has been in the news. Talking about number one draft pick Caitlin Clark. She got hers. And by the way, A'ja Wilson, she got hers too. She announced on Saturday Nike will be bringing A'ja Wilson. If you don't know who A'ja Wilson is, two-time WNBA champ, two-time WNBA MVP, two-time WNBA Defensive Player of the Year, Olympic gold medalist, national won a national title in South Carolina. Asia Wilson will have her own Nike signature shoe called the A1s. I believe that's what they're going to be called, and they will drop in 2025. So want to shout out Asia Wilson too. But Cheryl Swoops, again, she started the trend with the women getting their own basketball shoe. So definitely give a shout out to Cheryl Swoops, another woman that blazed the trail. It's women before her. Obviously, I don't want to leave out Cheryl Miller and Lynette Woodard and all them. But definitely Cheryl Swoops blazed the way for women, the WNBA, and for women getting these signature shoes. So I had to bring her in. Lisa Leslie, LA Sparks, Olympic gold medalist, WNBA champ. She's a mother. She had a little girl, and she was one of the most dominant big women to ever play in the game. She came in the game and dominated. I think Lisa Leslie even scored 100 points in a high school game, I believe, just like Cheryl Miller did it too back in the Gap. So we got these women doing their things, man. So they've been doing big things, and then I always, you can't do nothing but appreciate women that can juggle that, because women, they want to have it all. I get it. You still want to, you still want the family. Some do. Some just want to go that professional route and focus on that. But then some say, you know what? I'm missing something. I want to be a mother, and I can't speak for women. I think that's one of the things that's innate or born part of a woman's DNA. Most women do want to be a mother. Most. I ain't say all. I say most. So salute to these professional athletes that's able to achieve that and then be a mother too. Jackie Joyner Kersey, got to bring her up too. The sister-in-law of Florence Griffith Joyner. She was, what can you say, track and field royalty. She was able to juggle her long and historic career with motherhood too. So had to throw her name in there as well. Candace Parker, just had to mention her. She just announced her retirement last week, I want to say, and she was just named the head of the women's division at Nike to develop women's apparel, women's shoes, and all that. So shout out to Candace Parker, also WNBA champ, two-time National Player of the Year, Tennessee, two-time. What can you say about Candace Parker? She was probably one, when you talk about at the college level, Candace Parker was one of the most dominant women to ever play the game. She was doing her thing. So gotta salute Candace Parker. I think she has a daughter. And she was previously married to Sheldon Williams. If you don't know, he played for Duke. He played a couple of years in the NBA. But yeah, Candace Parker, she is doing her thing. Big things for them. And so I just went down the list of these women in sports that became mothers and will still be able to stay on the top of their game at a high level. So I definitely want to salute all the women that's professional women that's mothers, because I'm quite sure if you talk to any of them, probably they're gonna say the best thing that they've ever accomplished is being a mother, and that's what women do. But I'm still saluting all the other women out there too. This is my special salute to mothers on Mother's Day. This is a special TFG Sports Media Mother's Day edition, women in sports, and then we get ready to turn a little bit. We done with sports. We getting ready to go into TV. Favorite television mothers. Gotta know who your favorite television mother is. Somebody tell me. We're gonna talk about that. I got a few in my own mind. Again, this is an impromptu, no notes. I'm just coming off the top of my head. You got to talk to me about your favorite television mothers. Put that in the comments. I would like to know. I'm gonna tell you. I'm just one of my favorites, and this probably is gonna sound. It may not sound weird. One of my favorite television mothers is from a show called Leave It to Beaver. June Cleaver, believe it or not, is one of my favorite television mothers. I thought that she always kept herself made up. Obviously, this was shot in the 50s, so women didn't have to really work or didn't work outside the home. But June Cleaver made sure that the house was top notch. She made sure she had her everything was going to be decent and in order. When Ward came home, and she made sure that Ward he was gonna come home. And everything's gonna be cool. So June Cleaver is one of my favorite TV moms. Actually, Leave It to Beaver is probably one of my favorite shows. I think because with me growing up as in a single parent household with just me, my brother, and my mom, seeing a two parent household was odd to me. So I always wondered, wow, that's kind of dope. You have a mother and a father in the same house. So I thought that was kind of dope. So that's one of my favorite TV moms. Got to go with my girl Florida Evans with Good Times. Now I know Florida sometimes will work our nerves, but Florida Evans is on my on my list. What's up, Sean? Florida Evans. I just said that. Thanks, Deshaun. Thanks for watching, brother. Florida Evans, she's on my list, even though sometimes I didn't like the decisions she would make James feel bad about doing certain things, but Florida Evans, she kept the household rolling. She was that voice of reasoning, I guess you would say. So Florida kept the show going. She kept the household going, and having to keep those Jimmy Walker, JJ, Thelma, and Michael in check. And it's funny, I was talking about that. I actually watched the interview on the Breakfast Club. They interviewed Jimmy Walker, Bernadette Stanis, and Ralph Carter. I watched that about an hour ago, and it was a really great interview. Just talking about the process of them auditioning, what was being on the show like. Bernadette Stanis, she called Esther Roll mom, real talk, because they were really close. So she talked about how Esther Roll would go to bat for them. Would go to the writers and producers as there were some issues in the scripts that she didn't like. So Bernadette Stanis talked about that, and Ralph Carter, who was played Michael, man, that dude, Michael was like the revolutionary on the show if you watched it, and that's who he really is, man. Just listen to Ralph Carter talk, man. It made you feel proud. So some of the things he's done away from Good Times, man. So anyway, but Florida Evans is definitely on my list. Got to talk about Claire Huxtable from the Cosby Show. You know, Claire, she was that no-nonsense. She was a lawyer. She was making it happen. But Claire Huxtable, she's definitely one of my favorite TV moms as well. One of my favorite episodes is when Vanessa snuck out. They went to some party in a different state or something, and Claire found out about it. Ooh-wee, she felt the wrath of her mother, and we all, I'm sure, everybody listening can say that we felt the wrath of our mamas. Mamas don't play, so most of the time, what's funny, this my opinion. I think most of the time the mothers are more of the disciplinarian in when it comes to the kids. The fathers, they say a little bit, but a lot of times the mothers really are the disciplinarians in when it comes to the kids. But Claire Huxtable is definitely on my list. Is one of my favorite TV moms. Who else is on my list? Oh, I gotta go with Weezy Jefferson. Gotta go with Weezy Jefferson from the Jeffersons. How in the hell did she put up with George, that's a whole different topic, but with her, her relationship with Lionel, her only son. I think they had a dope mother-son relationship. And sons, we consider we cater to we're gonna probably be more closer to our moms anyway, most of the time. It doesn't always work out like that, but most of the time we're gonna always have that type of love for our moms. So yeah, Weezy Jefferson is definitely on my list. Who else is on my list? Uh, 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 Brady. Is it June Brady? What's her name? From the Brady Bunch. I can't remember her name now. Peace be upon her. Her last name was Florence. Florence Henderson is a real name. I can't think of her name. But for her to come in and take on 3 boys to become their stepmom and all, and she handled the business. Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch is on my list when we talk about television moms. Some of my favorites. Who else is on my list as far as television moms? I gotta go with my girl Tashina Campbell, Jay Kyle, for My Wife and Kids. She's one of my favorite television moms. She was her and Michael Mike's related. Their marriage was funny, but just the way she handled her kids It's dope, and I believe that's her character on there. I can see Tashina being that type of mother. I think she has two boys as well, so I can see her being like that. She definitely is on one of my favorite television moms. Also, from my wife, not my wife and kids, from Everybody Hates Chris. Uh, God, I can't, Tashina Arnold. I can't think of her name now from the on the character, but you know who I'm talking about on Everybody Hates Chris. Tashina Arnold. She's one of my favorite moms because she was always over the top, always doing. She was always over the top, but she meant business, and she was the disciplinarian. Perfect example. She was the disciplinarian in when it comes to disciplining the kids because Julius didn't do much because he was working all the time. So she was the disciplinarian. So those are some of my favorite television moms. I like to know some of yours. Make sure you put it in the comments. Make sure if you watch this later, please put it in the comments so we can chat about that because I definitely want to. I'll come back and check it out later. And so again, this is my rendition of my salute to mothers on Mother's Day. TFG Sports Media 30-minute sports edition. Again, I want to thank everybody that's dropped in to watch on TikTok as well. If you watch over here on Facebook and YouTube, make sure you like this, share this to your social media platforms and comments so we can chat a little bit. And again, I hope everybody has had a great Mother's Day. Again, make sure you spend time with your mom because you only get one. And I'm gonna end the show right now. We about to get out of here. So again, we got NBA playoff basketball about to tip off. But I can't end the show without saluting four women that played a very big part of who I am today as a man, and they all four are in their spiritual realm now. They are no longer physically here with me, but I know their spirits are with me, and I have to say I got to salute first and foremost is my mother. To the left, if you're watching me on YouTube, that is my mother. To my left, the late Carolyn Louise Henderson, who birthed me at 16 years old. My brother and I was her first son. My brother and I lost our mother in 2005 in October to stage 4 metastatic breast cancer at the young age of 53. So this is our 18th Mother's Day without her no longer physically being here. But I know spiritually she's here with me, and I think about her all the time. And Mother's Day just ain't the same no more. But I got to keep pushing. And Mama, continue on your peaceful journey. And your first son, we will see you when we see you. We will see you on the other side. So I got to salute my mother and wish her a happy Mother's Day in paradise. And the second woman you see on your screen, if you're watching me on YouTube or on Facebook, is Bridget Annette, my ex-wife, who we were together for almost 20 years. We spent half of our adult lives together. We lost her unexpectedly in May 2 years ago. What can I say about Bridget Annette? We had some memories. We had 3 beautiful children together. We also have one beautiful granddaughter as well. And she is a part of my growth as a man too. So I have to say, happy Mother's Day, Bridget Annette. Gone, never forgotten. I will always cherish all the memories we had together. You continue on your peaceful journey as well. The last woman you see on the right is my first cousin, my big sis, Britannica Lynn. We basically grew up together. She was 2 years older than me, and she was my protector. She was my first best friend. And life hasn't been the same since we lost her unexpectedly in March of 2023. So I got to salute my big sis, Britannica Lynn. Your little bro he's doing all right. Life ain't the same without you, but you continue on your peaceful journey, and we'll see you when we get there. And last but not least, I don't have a picture up on here. Is my paternal aunt, Lenny Ruth Reed Walker. I can say so much about my auntie. She helped my mom out when my mom was only 16. She would keep me as a toddler. I spent a lot of time with her so my mom could finish high school. But we lost her in April of 2018, but she had a big impact on who I am, the man I am today. Like I say, all four of the women I just mentioned, they mean a whole lot to me, and they shaped and formed who I am today. And I always say that behind any successful man, there's some women involved, and I definitely can attest to that. So to all these four women of mine who I love dearly, continue on your peaceful journey, and we will see you when we get there. So again, this has been TFG Sports Media Mother's Day edition. I am your host, Kendrick, the sports guy. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Go watch this. Make sure you share it to all your social media platforms. Go check out some of the other stories on those channels as well. And again, you can catch me here every Sunday around 2 p.m. We're talking a little sports and other things. So again, happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful women out there. Continue to enjoy your day, and we'll see you on the other side and on the next report. And oh, by the way, it's always a great day to be a Green Bay Packer fan. All right, I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. I'm out of here. Peace.